I think the main thing in Ashtanga is anyone can do Ashtanga Yoga. Sharat would say that the only person who can't do Ashtanga Yoga is a lazy person. And that's simply because what Ashtanga requires is a commitment. So ideally you're practicing 6 days a week. And even if you're doing a short practice, it's better to do it with regularity. Repetition, day in, day out, a shorter practice will work better than just showing up once a week for, say, 2 hours. So what you want to do is choose a practice time that you can commit to regularly, every day, ideally. And you show up and you'll work one-on-one with a teacher.
Okay. So say I was interested in trying Mysore-style at Ashtanga Yoga Vancouver, how would I go about it?
So the best thing is to look at your schedule, find out when is the easiest time for me to practice that works with my lifestyle. And so you pick a start time and then try to show up a minimum of 4 times a week. Ideally up to 6 each week is perfect. And you show up every day at the same time, you bring your yoga mat, you wear comfortable clothing, and slowly over the course of time you'll be guided through the postures. We also have several introductory courses which will just break down the beginning principles. And in Ashtanga it would be the breathing technique and something we call the bandhas, which is just energetic connections that help to support the physical body and eventually the mental, spiritual body. So in a workshop setting, you'll really delve into these. So ideally, if you can attend a workshop, an intro workshop, and then pick that start time, and you can start coming to any of our classes. Anyone can do Ashtanga Yoga if you commit regularly. So you're going to show up, you're going to put down your mat, and the teacher will work with you on breathing. And then from there, they'll lead you through what we call Surya Namaskar. And Ashtanga is very much a breath-led system. So you'll be using your breath to lead you through a series of 9 postures. And over time, the teacher will show you something. Then they'll say, try it yourself. You'll try it yourself. And you'll repeat it a few times. And then they'll show you something else. You'll try it yourself. And over the course of months and years, eventually the teacher and the student build up a relationship. And in that relationship, the teacher knows where you need help, and you yourself can proceed through independently when you're not needing help. And when you get to your challenging postures, the teacher is going to be there to help you and work with you through those postures. Over time, those challenging postures change. Suddenly the ones that you thought you'd never be able to do, you can do. And that's always a neat moment, because that's the moment when something you thought would never happen suddenly becomes a possibility. And that's what makes yoga an amazing practice. It's when you have those breakthroughs, because you start to realize that, I remember when I started yoga, I thought, I'm not going to do that pose. That looks frightening. I don't want to do that. But eventually I would try that pose, and it would be a little scary. But with repetition, day in and day out, eventually you just keep showing up and the fear goes away. And suddenly the posture that you thought you would never do, you're doing. And those mini breakthroughs on the mat, they really show up in life, and things that you thought in life you couldn't do, you stop saying I can't do something, and you just show up and you take practice, or you show up and you see what happens in life. We all start somewhere. I think it's normal to show up and to feel like, my favorite excuse of not doing yoga is that I'm too inflexible. And I'm like, no, come. Anyone can do yoga. And if you're inflexible, fantastic. Yoga's for you. Any age is fine. We have people all the way from, my daughter did some yoga when she was 6. We have all the way up into the 60s. We've had people who have been coming in after a car accident. We get athletes who are lacking in flexibility. We get people who are lacking in strength and have too much flexibility. So yoga is basically, it'll look at your body, it'll look at your mind, it'll say, where is there a lack of balance? And the idea of yoga is to take, if we're really flexible over here, but we have no strength, well, let's move more towards strength. Let's balance that out. And if we're really strong and we lack flexibility, let's balance that out. And by finding that balance in the body, you start to find the balance in the mind. Things start to even out. You feel better in your body, When you feel better in your body, you feel better in your mind. You feel more still, more at ease, more comfortable.
Yeah.